All right, guys, I'm very excited to have Emily as our guest speaker. I've watched her from afar and absolutely adore her upline, Angie Belmar, as well. We've had Angie speak on calls before and just blow our minds. And, the first time that I was able to see Emily speak in person was at the Power of I Am, and I was just blown away at the way that you present yourself, especially because you're so young, you just turned 25. That's super duper young, you guys, and just everything that you've been able to accomplish and the way that you're able to teach people to be successful in this business. It's something that I've gravitated towards because you're just so laid back, but you have your ish together. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to share about Emily because she really has accomplished a lot, you guys. She was top 25 elite last year. You guys, every single year it gets harder and harder to be in the top 25, okay, even the top 50. And she crushed it. And I have seen your name, up there as well this year. I know that you're crushing it still. She is a 5-star in her first business center, 1 star in her second, and she's had 36 consecutive months in Success Club. Okay, you guys are all at the point where you know why Success Club is important, and being able to do that every single month just shows that she's building her business the right way. Okay, so I'm excited because you guys are going to see me mute myself and type because I'm going to be taking notes like crazy because even as you grow as a leader, you guys, you have to continue to learn from other people. So I'm going to be soaking up the greatness of Emily along with you guys. So Emily, I'm going to hand it over to you. And these are people pushing to diamond, solid diamond, and then beyond. So
perfect. And Meg, it's really funny because I was recruited to the business with an audio of you and Janelle, like having a phone call. That's what I just thought it was really funny. I had to tell you that.
Oh, I love that. That just made my day.
So I have a little bit of a slideshow for you guys just so that I stay on track for you. But I'm really excited to talk to you guys because I want to kind of go through where my mindset shifted, where I went from a coach who was like, I was doing okay, but I was an emerald and I was kind of just dilly-dallying my way to diamond for a really long time. It was like 9 or 10 months, so it wasn't crazy. But when that mindset shift actually happened, when I could really figure out what I needed to do to become a diamond and beyond coach, because I definitely knew that while diamond was a huge goal and I wanted to get there, I never wanted to stop at diamond and I never wanted to be a shaky diamond. I wanted to be able to go far beyond. And my eyes were really set on 2-star right away because I knew that that was stable. I knew that that was, going to be great for so many aspects of your business financially, rank-wise. And so I knew that I needed to make that mindset shift. But I kind of want to introduce myself to you guys really, really quickly because I know that a lot of people aren't quite familiar with me yet. Can everybody see my screen? I always make sure I check. So I have been coaching for 3 years now as of August. It was August 26th. It was my 3-year coaching anniversary. I started coaching on my 22nd birthday. But before that, I was like the ultimate hot mess express. And so I kind of wanted to take you through just slightly what I had overcome before I became a coach so that you can really get a feel for the fact that I have not always been this way. I think at this point I always hear like, oh, you have it together and you seem so mature. This was not the Emily I was 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, this was a year before I found coaching, I was 50 pounds overweight. I was a super senior in college, so I was double majoring in finance and insurance, and I hated both of them. I was totally forced into it by my family, and I would literally just sit around in class and look around and be like, these are not my people, and this is not where I'm supposed to be. And I knew that I wasn't living my life's purpose. I was always somebody who believed that your job should have a purpose, or you should at least enjoy it. Like when I was a little girl, I said my dream job was to be a steel drum player on an island. Like I always had like really weird ideals for my life, but I was just really, really unhappy. And I ended up actually dropping out of college because I just felt so directionless. The end game for me was like a pencil skirt and a cubicle. And for some people that's great. But for me, it was just, it was breaking my heart. And this was all happening while I'm gaining weight excessively. And at this moment, I had to move back into my mom's basement because I had basically gone broke as a 20-year-old. I tried to move to the city. I lived in downtown Chicago for a little bit and just completely ran out of all of my money. I literally had to move home and continue paying rent on that apartment and not living there because I couldn't afford to feed myself when I was living there. So I was the ultimate hot mess express. And eventually I figured out that I needed to focus on myself. So I, thank goodness, found out about P90X3. For me, it was like this perfect equation because I was a really busy college student. I was working on top of that. I was a waitress while I was going through school. So the fact that there were 30-minute workouts and that I could do them in the basement and hide from the world because I had really bad social anxiety and I just felt like I was in such a bad place, I was so excited and I desperately needed a change. And I'm not going to bore you with my entire fitness story, but I was ready. Something had snapped inside of me where I was tired of feeling like crap every day. And so my fiance and I actually did P90X3 together. We did 2 rounds. If you've ever done X3, Tony's like my man, my soulmate trainer. But after 2 rounds, I had lost 48 pounds and totally fallen in love with fitness. And I just believed in myself again. And I hadn't believed in myself for so long in my life. And I really, really, really fell in love with the idea of helping other women start to believe in themselves again as well. So fitness for me was always so much more than just aesthetics or just having this really hot bod. And I actually talk about that a lot on my social media platforms. While I am feeling pretty shredded right now from the 80-day obsession group, I am not one to ditch my glass of wine here and there for a 6-pack. So, and I'm totally okay with that. But I knew that I wanted to help other women feel confident again and learn how to love their bodies and themselves. And I think fitness is so much more than just physical. And thank goodness I found out about coaching, because this whole time, you guys, I didn't have a coach. I was totally terrified of talking to people. So I actually was so bad and I downloaded P90X3. I hate to say it, but I had downloaded it illegally. I was doing it in the basement. And then I found a post on Instagram from my coach, Angie Belmar. And she was just saying that, there was this fitness coaching. And so I literally sent her like an email. When I found out it was Beachbody, my heart, I just knew. I was like, wait a second. This is like the workout program I've been doing? What? And I signed up on the spot. I was like one of those people, you didn't need to tell me much. I did listen to this call of Meg and Janelle talking, but I was ready. I was like, okay, like show me where I sign. I'm in. And so I really jumped right into coaching and I fell in love with challenge groups. Right from the get-go, I was so confident in the group itself and so excited that I think that just kind of contagiously spread to other people. I was word vomiting. I was totally not understanding exactly what a group was or how to run it or how to talk about it perfectly. But that's always why I tell people, you don't need the perfect script. You really just need the heart, and you could say all the wrong things to the right people and it really doesn't matter. They will still love you and they will still want to sign up with you, and they will actually probably love you more if you are human. And so I fell in love with this concept of helping people through fitness. And I just absolutely loved that, but I got comfortable there. And so I knew I had really big goals for my coaching business, but I knew that I was going to have to stretch myself at some point and start building a team of coaches. And that was a little bit more intimidating for me just because it's hard to jump out of your comfort zone sometimes with anything. And so I had to learn how to stretch. Now, I think it was a call. It might have been a Bonnie Engel National Wake Up Call. I am a PD junkie. I am a National Wake Up Call junkie. If you give me a piece of information, I will take it in because I always just want to get all the knowledge possible. And I love that. But she had talked about this gift, and the gift is the coaching opportunity. And I was really looking in on how many ways my life had changed through coaching at that point. It wasn't that I was rolling in the dough right away. It wasn't that I had this prestige and rank because I was a new coach. Everybody starts at ground zero. But all of a sudden, I had dreams again. I had hope for my life. I was able to make an impact. I was happy. I was surrounded by positive people. I was told, become your best self. And I don't think a lot of people have that atmosphere in their work. And I knew that those small things would really, really, really help other people, that I didn't have to be this gigantic established coach to actually be able to share that gift. Another thing that really stuck with me in that call was that it's not up to you to play God and pick and choose who gets that opportunity placed in front of them. Because I know it can be really easy to think, or you make up these assumptions in your mind on how somebody's going to react when you invite them, who might actually be interested. And I think we do that because it just makes us feel better about why we're not actually inviting that person. But I finally realized that I needed to share that gift with the world. I wanted to help as many people as I possibly could through coaching. And I knew that while I was always going to run challenge groups, I was always going to continue to support my clients. I wanted to start building a team and help other women more than just through fitness, but financially and with freedom, time freedom and stress freedom. And there's so many things that coaching can do for people. But I think like a lot of people, I really questioned my ability to lead. I was ready to jump, but I didn't know how. And I wondered, could somebody really be inspired by me? Would I be able to really help them? And I was looking at all of these amazing people that we have in our uplines. We have, of course, my coach, we have Meg, we have Janelle, we have Christine Dwyer. There's so many people in the Beachbody world, right? And they're incredible and they're established. And it's really important to remember that we do all start at the same place. But I think that it's natural. We all kind of at one point have that thought in our head, like, man, can I do that? Like, am I really cut out to lead a team? And so those kind of self-limiting beliefs started to creep in. I actually messaged my coach, and she probably had a heart attack because I was a consistent Success Club hitter. I loved coaching. I bleed Beachbody Blue. I was consistent on social media. Like, I did everything right. And my fear almost let me take the easy road and quit coaching. But I sent a message to my coach and I let her know. And I think I had sent her like the silliest excuse. Thank goodness I actually had the courage to message her first, because she told me, no, you're going to go to Summit. It was July. So it was like right around Summit. She's like, you're going to go to Summit. You just have to go. I really think it'll be a game changer for you. She's like, worst case scenario, you just get to work out with Tony live. Like, and that's something that you've always wanted, right? So I was like, okay, I'll go to Summit and then I'll make my decision. And when I got to Summit, I had my biggest realization ever, you guys. And it wasn't even in a training. Well, the trainings are incredible, don't get me wrong. But what I realized was that everybody was human just like me. And you would kind of like pass by these top coaches. Because at the time, I'm 22. I'm an emerald ranked coach. I'm not established. Nobody knows who I am. And you see them walk by and they're human like you. Like, they're eating lunch and they're just like normal people. And we kind of see people on social media and we assume that they're like celebrities or they just have it all together. They have something special that we don't have. And when I realized that, something else came to my mind. The only reason why they were farther ahead than I was that they were working a whole lot harder than me. Was because they knew what they wanted and they were actually putting in the work to get there. They were human, just like I was. They were exactly like me. They had no special script. They had no special formula. They were working their butts off, and I wasn't quite working to their level yet. And that, to me, was my mindset breakthrough. When I got home from Summit, I realized, I don't know why I didn't realize this sooner, but I realized that if I wanted to reach my goals, I just had to work a little bit harder and a little bit more concentrated on what I actually wanted to achieve. So it's not like I started working like 13 hours a day on my coaching business, but I came with a lot more intensity to my business and with a mission. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I think that that's really important. You have to know what goal you're going to achieve. So if you're shooting for diamond or star diamond, I know this is a diamond push group, but then of course your goal is to get beyond that, right? So really know where you want to go. Get that so laser focused in your life. I had a giant whiteboard. It's in my closet right now, which is probably horrible, but I had a giant whiteboard, and every single day that was in front of me with my goals, with my diamond structure that I was working on, with my Success Club points that I had. I would literally, I had tallies of everything I was doing. I was tracking my invites, but it was the first thing I saw every single day in my office. I went and got like a $15 gigantic whiteboard at Costco. A whiteboard can change your life. But it was right in front of me. And every single morning when I sat down at my desk, that was the very first thing that I saw. And it was in my mind, and I knew that I was going to get there, and I gave myself a deadline. I think that you have to. Sometimes people are really turned off by deadlines, but without a deadline, there's not really a goal there. It's just kind of a dream, right? We kind of hear that every now and again, but it's true. Deadlines aren't a bad thing, and hard work is not a punishment. These are things that you kind of need to start achieving exceptional results. So I had this plaster in front of me. I knew where I was going to go, and then the perfect book fell into my lap. I don't know if any of you guys have ever read the 10 times rule, but it is it's my go-to. I've probably read it 6 times. I'm not kidding. I've read it. I've listened to the audio. It kind of fuels my life because the whole book is basically take 10 times the action and you will get 10 times the results, right? So at the time, if somebody gave me a to-do list, okay, invite 10 people a day and do this, I was always doing the bare minimum. If they told me, okay, so you're supposed to hit Success Club 10, I would do the bare minimum. I'd hit Success Club 10, and then I'd kind of take my foot off the gas pedal for the month until the next month came. And I realized that if I just started working a little bit harder and actually outworking people, not only could I grow my business, but I could grow my business more quickly than most people. And I am a little bit competitive, I'm not gonna lie. So when I see something that I can do exceptionally, I really love to rise to the challenge. So I was literally ranked number, 5,000 in the company of January last year, and I ended up number 25 in the course of 1 year. But the way that happened genuinely was I was looking at the people who were in the top 25, or any coach that I really aspired to be, and I started to ask myself, what does she do in a day? How hard is she working? What is she doing? There's just things that people do. Like you look at somebody like Melanie Mitro and she's just a machine. She's consistent. She doesn't have a special equation. She's consistent. She works her booty off. She never quits. And that builds a business. And so I started to see that. So I went, okay, if you're going to be an elite coach this year, if you're going to be a diamond coach, if you're going to be, in the top whatever, you need to start being that coach today. And that was a huge game changer for me because we kind of take these baby steps towards diamonds sometimes. Like we're like, okay, I'll sign up 2 coaches this week and whatever. And you're kind of like grafting it out for yourself at a pace that you know that you can handle. And and when you know that you can handle a goal, when you know that you can handle a pace, it's really not that inspiring, right? Like when it actually gets you out of your comfort zone a little bit and makes you nervous, kind of puts butterflies in your stomach, and like you'd be nervous to actually share that goal with somebody. Those are the kind of goals that you need to be setting for yourself, because boring goals don't make us work very hard. And that was something I had to realize. I knew that I could hit Success Club, right? Like everybody, I genuinely believe everybody can hit Success Club 5 if you're doing your vital behaviors. I knew that I could be consistent on social media and be consistent wherever. But I didn't know if I had it in me to, say, sign up 10 coaches in a month. That was something that I'd never done before. I'd signed up like 4 coaches in a month. That was my best month ever. And I actually went from signing up about 3 to 4 coaches a month. Not that you have to be a heavy recruiter, but I actually went to like almost immediately signing up like 25 to 30 coaches a month. And it was my mindset shift. It was my confidence. It was this energy that I brought to my business. I swear to you, that means so much, because when you can breathe confidence into another human being, that's when they start to actually believe in themselves. And when they start to think, you know what, maybe I actually can do what she does. I didn't need to be a big, perfect coach for them to see that they should join me or that I had worth. I had to be human, show them that they could do it as well, share a little bit of my mission and vision with them, let them know where we were going. I actually really embraced the fact that I wasn't necessarily like Melanie Mitro per se at the beginning. I embraced the fact that I was building my empire and that I wanted to do it with them by my side, and we could do it together and we could build something really cool together. And so I started acting like the coach that I wanted to be. I started working like the coach that I wanted to be. I treated myself far before I was an elite coach or whatever coach. I started treating myself like that person and holding myself to those standards, because I knew that that was the only way that I was actually going to get there. And that was really helpful for me. So I kind of had to have that jump of belief before I was ready to actually put in the work, because really we know what diamond is. We need those 8 coaches. We need those 2 emeralds. In our minds, it's not that complicated. We just have to go emerald a couple times. I always tell my girls, you just go emerald a couple times and you teach a couple other people how to go emerald. Stop making it overcomplicated. We actually, this is like one of my favorite quotes of all time, but we tend to overcomplicate things in our minds to justify our inaction. So we'll make it seem like it's this just big, crazy thing, this thing that we could never really achieve, right? Like, oh, well, it's just really complicated, because we're not actually putting in the work to make it a reality. And when I realized that, I was ready. I knew, okay, if I need this many people, then I'm going to start signing up 2 coaches a week. And how many people do I generally talk to before I actually sign up 2 people? Do I sign up 1 in 10? Do I sign up 1 in 20? And it's not always exact, of course, but I started to kind of reverse engineer that goal. And I knew that I was going to have to step up to the plate to put that work in, because I think a lot of times people will look for all of the answers or hand-holding from their upline, their sponsor, whoever it might be. But really, we need that internal drive more than anything. It's kind of said, I don't remember who said it, but they said accountability partners can kind of be nonsense, because the most amazing accountability partner you have is yourself. When you set deadlines and promises to yourself, that's really powerful. That's really big. It's kind of like showing up for yourself in your fitness journey, right? Like, if you skip that workout, like, it's going to alter your results. The same thing is in your business. And so I started setting better deadlines for myself. I reversed engineered those goals, and I leveled up my mind. I started diving into personal development, and I didn't wait for somebody to give me the knowledge that I needed. There's so many resources on YouTube, on podcasts, on audiobook, but my kind of like word of caution to this tale is don't be somebody who stacks up knowledge and doesn't implement, because you can watch trainings all day long. You can take in all of the information, but until you're implementing and failing forward and actually trying things, you're not going to see any growth in your business. You're not going to see anything happening. For me, I had so many, I would run sneak peek groups in the beginning of my business, and they were like fail, flop, fail, flop, but I never stopped. And I knew, literally, I would tell myself, like, eventually I've got to get the hang of this, right? Like, eventually it's got to get better. At some point I have to learn how to talk on video and get comfortable and not freak out every time. And eventually I did. And then I became excessively strong at sneak peeks, extremely good at video. I figured out how to share my story and connect with other people. I found a system that worked for me because I kind of failed my way there. And I think a lot of times we're nervous for failure, but I always knew that, like, okay, every time that I fail is going to be a teaching moment for me in the future that I can teach forward. Anytime that I maybe face a struggle or whatever, I'll be able to help my girls. I'll be able to help my tribe. I'll be able to help them kind of navigate that better. And I think when you can have that mindset, even if it's just nonsense and it's just to make myself feel better, like, that's what I tell myself. And it kind of helps me stay calm in all moments and remind myself that, like, there's so much more to the bigger picture. And any moment, it might seem like the world is falling or like I'm the worst ever, but you never are. And you just have to keep allowing yourself to grow and give yourself that grace, because the only difference between somebody who's maybe where you want to be and maybe where you might be right now is the fact that they never stopped, or the fact, from somebody who maybe totally gave up on their dreams. If you just show up, you will see results. Action equals results always. If you aren't happy with the results that you see right now, you either need to increase your action or slightly tweak your action. It's not always about more. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm already working so hard, am I supposed to put more hours and time into my business? Not necessarily, but figure out where things are maybe not 100% clicking for you if you feel like that's a thing. If you notice that in your conversations at a certain point, they drop off every time, tweak it. Don't continue in that pattern. If you notice that in a video, like, people don't watch after a certain point, tweak your delivery. What I did, and this was really helpful for me, was I actually would take a piece of paper and I would, like, write down my entire life story. It was like my soul searching practice that I would do with myself. And it helped me figure out the most pivotal moments in my life journey that I could share with other people that were relatable, that showed them, whenever you can paint that picture of just overcoming, or even just a desire to overcome, other people can kind of put themselves there as well. So I would literally take out a piece of paper, I would take out a pen, and I would just write out my heart and write out everything that I've overcome in my life and write down everything that, I've done or I want to accomplish. And that helped really craft my story. I was able to pick some powerful moments. Like, I have a skiing story that I just share every single sneak peek and every single prep party, because that was a pivotal moment for me. You'll kind of figure out what your delivery is best, but failing forward is a really great thing. And I hope that this is helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to sit down and answer things. I know that this isn't a super, super tactical call, but I genuinely believe that you guys know the answers. You guys know what you need to do. You need to find some people in your tribe. You need to find people that you actually like so that you can actually, mesh together and share that heart with them. I think sometimes we just have to be a little bit realistic with ourselves. Like, okay, am I actually putting in the work that's going to get me the results that I want? And if not, a lot of times it's just because we don't fully believe in ourselves yet, but you just have to be your biggest cheerleader. If you're not, nobody else is going to be for you. And that's so important. You have to be there for yourself. So I'm going to check the chat box really quickly and see what's going on in here.
My coaches absolutely love you. Like, I don't even know how many girl crushes we have going on right now. No, but I think that it's so important to have calls like this, you guys, because there's so much information out there that it's almost information overload, when really you guys know what you have to do. You know what it takes to get to diamond, and we're looking for a quicker answer or like a secret sauce, when really it comes down to hard work, and, like Emily said, being your biggest cheerleader and knowing that we all freaking fail. Emily fails, I fail, Melanie Mitro fails, probably a million times when we don't even get to see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way to success is to fail. So guys, if you have questions, type them in the little chat. Court saying, just love her. She reminds me so much of me, the same things I went through. Let's see. Any questions, you guys? I just keep saying how much I love you.
Thank you, guys. I always tell the only reason why I might, like, let's say you want to sign up more people, or you want to have a better ratio of whatever, talk to more people. Get yourself out there more. The only reason why you might see somebody hit Success Club 15 or 20 and you hit 5 or whatever is because they're getting more no's than you are. Every time that I have more successes, it's because I'm failing way harder than everybody else, and I just never gave up and I never stopped. So if I sign up let's say it's a really great month and I sign up like 15 clients, I probably have like 150 people tell me no before I got to those 15 people. And that still happens. That's every single day. Like, it's normal. How many hours a day do you put into your business? So at this point, I coach full time. I have for the past like year and a half, but I built my business on an hour a day, and I know people will say that, but genuinely, I was a full-time student. I commuted to school, so I was in the car 2 hours each day. I had class, which was 5 days a week. So I was generally gone from like 7 a.m. to about 4 p.m., and then I waitressed or bartended. So you don't really know when you're getting home when you work in a restaurant. It's just when people leave. So I was so busy, and I was working in my business on the side. That was another really big reason why I was so motivated, is because like I really hated bartending and waitressing, and I wanted out. And so I literally, though, with that power hour, I was religious with it. I never missed it. It didn't matter if I needed to stay up an hour later, if I needed to wake up at 5 o'clock to get it done, if I had to delay date night just a little bit. I knew that if I needed to make small sacrifices in the moment, that was going to give me huge returns in the future. And I think that sometimes we can be really nearsighted instead of looking at this bigger picture, because there were some sacrifices that I made in the beginning of my business that ended up giving me time freedom after a year and a half of working my business. At the age of 23, I was working for myself full time. That's crazy, right? But I had given up a couple things to get there, and I was okay with that. And I think a lot of other people, especially typically in my age demographic, they aren't. And so that can be huge. So I was working about an hour a day in my business. Now I would say probably 3 or 4, unless I'm in like a really creative mode. I don't work Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday. So I pretty much just work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because I earned that right. I want to be very clear with that. Sometimes I'll tell my girls that, and they're like, oh, so I can check out every single day, Thursday through Sunday. But I have a system now where that works for me. And I always had this dream of having time freedom, not ending up working for myself and having to work 15-hour days. So you'll get really efficient as you go too. You'll figure that out. Do you think it's possible to set your limits too high? Like my goals on Teensy, I was having a hard time reaching them and then getting super hard on myself. So you do want to be semi-realistic, right? Because like if it's way too far, you're just going to feel disappointed. It's kind of like when people are like, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. And you're like, homegirl, you're going to be really sad. That's not going to happen, right? But don't be afraid to stretch yourself a little bit. So literally get realistic with it. You know, if you're, let's say, wanting to go Star Diamond over the next 8 weeks, then know what you need to do to get there. How far are you from Diamond? How many people are you going to have on your team to get to Star Diamond? 8? Okay. Can you sign up 2 people a week? What kind of work do you need to put in to get there? And that's kind of, I saw somebody said they have a hard time with reverse engineering goals. It can be a little bit overwhelming. I swear to you though, paper and pen can be really helpful. Like start with that big goal and then work your way down and figure it out. So like I would say, you know, it depends on your level and skills, like Beachbody always says. But like if you're not ready to, and I can't even do this, if you're not ready to like recruit 10 people a week, like, you know, be realistic about that. Don't set that goal for yourself because you will be upset, but stretch yourself as well. What's my current favorite social media platform? It's always been Instagram, but I don't think that it has to be for everybody. I actually went to Instagram because it was my comfort place, because I could hide from my friends and family when I started my business. So it was actually out of fear that I started on Instagram. But I really like it. Now you have to be aware on Instagram, it's an aesthetically pleasing platform. So if you aren't taking, you know, well-lit, pretty, colorful pictures, sharp, whatever, they're not going to do well on Instagram. So iPhones are great. I use my iPhone for everything. I don't have like a crazy camera or anything, but I definitely take care into my pictures. Facebook's a video platform. So figure out your strengths. You know, you don't have to follow the same social media platform that somebody else does, but know like, oh, I actually enjoy this platform. I could put effort into this and grow this. What are you finding is the best way to recruit right now through call to action posts? So I actually, since I love Instagram, I love Instagram. Now, here's what you want to do, you guys. You want to get people commenting on your posts like every single day so that they start getting into that habit and so that Instagram finds your posts worthy. So I will try to end every single post either in a question or with something that I know is going to spark up a couple comments. I actually am very aware of what my audience likes more than other pictures. You can, if you have your account set up as a business account, and I don't even know if every account you can do that, but you can actually see insights for your posts, so you can like see like what was my most liked post of ever. But you can do that on websites too. But you kind of see like when you get better engagement on some things, like when I post food and like nobody likes it for me, but some people it's great. But if I post a picture of my fiance and it goes hot. There's like 3,000 likes on it. I'm like, where the heck are you guys the rest of the life, right? Like what's going on here? So kind of pay attention to what your audience likes to see. But Ask them questions, get involved with them. If somebody comments, you say thank you, interact with them, because they need to start to see you as that human person. Instagram stories is bomb.com right now. I actually get a lot of people into my world through Instagram stories. So number one, you want to be very personal in there. You don't want to just attack them with like, join my team, sales, spam ads. But like, let's say you're like yesterday, for instance, this wasn't necessarily coaching focused. It was challenge group focused, but I started the day by sharing like my morning meal routine. I shared when I was getting ready to work out. And then after my workout, I did like a couple short videos on my Instagram story saying like, oh my gosh, I see you guys watching this. I know that you have goals. Are you actually taking action on them? Like, do you have a plan of action? If you don't have a plan of action that you're happy with right now, like message me, swipe up, message me, send me a message. I'll do the same thing with my team. If you go look at my Instagram story right now, I'm talking about my best friend, Natalie. She's one of my coaches. She was able to go full. She was a mom. I actually saw somebody said it's hard with kids. Natalie started coaching with me probably like 14, 15 months ago. But she was a full-time high school science teacher, mom of two, was able to go full-time in her business after a year because she was a miracle morning fanatic. She never missed her miracle morning. But I actually highlight her in my Instagram story tonight. And I was telling her story because she gets to go on her son's field trip tomorrow and she never got to do that before. And that was a powerful moment. And so that's kind of like breadcrumbing coaching successes into your Instagram story. The more that you can weave emotional things into anything on social media, the better. Because we make emotional decisions far before we make, I hate to say rational ones because it's not like this is like an irrational decision, but we make decisions with our heart. And so when people can actually relate to you, I think that really helps. So I've been having a lot of success right now on Instagram stories, just being very human. I'll post my pretty perfected pictures on Instagram once or twice a day, but the rest of the day, like I will go on there with hot mess hair. I will, just show up as I am and talk to them and try to add a little bit of value on there too, so that I'm not always asking. Let's see, I think, any time management tips. Time management is hard because really what it is discipline. This is what I found with myself, at least. And everybody's life is so different and everybody's personalities are really different as well. Like if you give me an hour by hour, minute by minute schedule, I hate that. I will just completely avoid it at all costs. So what really works well for me every day, this isn't necessarily time management, but every single morning I write down 1, 2, 3 on a piece of paper and I write down my top 3 things that I need to accomplish that day. Because a lot of times we have these gigantic to-do lists and then we know we can't accomplish everything. So we avoid the to-do list like the plague and then we don't do anything for like a week, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, I'm falling behind. Every day I focus on 3 things. I get 3 things done. I wake up in the morning and I go, what's most important to me today? And I will work on those 3 things. I think it's really important to set business hours and let your family know of these business hours. Let your friends know of your business hours. Be very serious and intentional with them. I think that more than anything is where I see people, like they'll kind of like work their business when they feel. And then when life gets busy, because it always gets busy. Something comes up. There will be an emergency. There will be something that you didn't expect. Somebody will invite you somewhere, whatever. Things will happen. The more that you treat your business like a business and like the most important business, because this is like, I know that like your jobs are important, right? And like if you have like a job still, and I know that that's important, but this is the ultimate freedom. This is like, you get to serve other people. You get to help them become their best selves. You get to work out and focus on yourself. You get to share your journey on social media. You get to create time and financial freedom as you work hard and earn it for yourself. You're in control, finally. Like, how cool is that? That is worth showing up for every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's not convenient and it's not easy. It's always worth it. And again, keeping those big goals in front of your face. Like if you need a dream board, make a dream board. Know where you're going. Know so certainly where you're going that you will not give up. Like that's where you're getting. For me, it was getting out of that waitressing job. And then it was getting my fiance out of his job. He's finishing school right now. And he was able to go, he only works 1 day a week right now because we were able to do that. That was huge. So he can focus on school. That was a huge goal board moment for me where I was like, this is what I'm working so hard for while everybody's drinking margaritas. I knew what I wanted. And so I showed up in my business. Some great books though would be The Miracle Morning, Eat That Frog. The 12-week year is kind of helpful. I really loved that book. You can always like figure out what planner system works best for you. There's so many things, but for me, the 1, 2, 3 system, 1, 2, 3, I need to get these things done today. I have my business hours set. I'm a little bit more like carefree. So that works really well for me. Yay. I think that I got them all.
I think you did too. And your answers are so good. And it's so nice to hear someone say some of the things that I've been saying, and maybe you guys like get it now, right? Like saying this, I'm gonna listen, right? But Emily, thank you so much for giving us this time on a Thursday night. I know it's not easy, especially when you have your team that you need to love on as well. Like, we totally appreciate it. I know my team got so much out of it. I was like watching the thread, and I've never seen it like that active throughout it. So thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. If you can all unmute and tell Emily thank you real quick. Anything else,
Another impression, you guys.
Thank you.
Go do it.